Welcome. You are listening to Readers and Writers, and today we're talking outlines with your hosts, James Hill and Athena Paris of RockHill Publishing. I am Amy Ravichandran. So I know that there's pantsers, plotters, fly by the seat of your pants writers. Okay. What is the best outline in your opinion? Can you have different ways depending on what genre you're writing and what outline you do? What's kind of that whole process like?
I am a definite plotter, and I am also a definite outliner. I outline my chapters so that I know where every chapter is going. And I learned this when I started doing nano write mode, because you can't really go back and forth and things like that. So I learned to write the outline and then use that as a framework for the actual writing. So at the top of each chapter, I have an outline of 3 or 4 points that I want to cover in that chapter. And so I can then go through, and as I'm writing it, I just have to go up a few pages, read the outline. Oh yeah, okay, I got to be doing this now. Yeah, we have to hit this point and keep writing. As a pantser, you can also use an outline, and you probably should use an outline just as a general view of the story, so that you don't lose track of what your story is. A lot of pantsers, they'll just get it right in there and they'll start typing, and they'll type 300,000 words, whereas they're going to wind up cutting 200,000 of those words out. So because they didn't have it outlined, they just went wherever they were going. And then when they got to the end, they realized that they went all over the place and they have to go back and cut a bunch of stuff out. So an outline helps you. It builds you a path to go down. Yeah. And that's what an outline is for.
So you can stay on track. So would you say that an outline to someone that's writing sci-fi or fantasy that has different worlds and creatures and family trees going on, would you say that an outline is their best friend, or should be their best friend to keep them, especially if it's a 30-book series, Okay.
Yeah. So yes, because an outline, it helps you keep track of what your plot is, who your characters are, what kind of scenes you need to create, and what's the premise of your story, all of those things. So in other words, it helps you structure your novel so that you understand. So it doesn't have to be very complicated. It doesn't have to be too long, but you can use the point form. So you write an outline and you say, I'm going to write 20 chapters. Each chapter is going to be 5,000 words. And in these chapters, I'm going to have 10 sections or 5 sections, whatever. And these are the scenes that I'm going to create. So here I start with my protagonist or my main character. They don't have to be the same person, but usually they are. And then you tell yourself then what is going. It's a sequence. It's a chronological order of things, so that you understand where you're starting, where you're going, where's your climax, where's your conflict, and where is your resolution as well.
Right. Okay. I mean, I could see that. And I think for some plotters, their outline would be long, because they're probably going to plot out every major thing that happens, but for a pantser, is that one going to be more? Because I know pantsers to be fly by the seat of their keyboard, kind of, we're just going to sit down and type this thing out. So would theirs be shorter? Do they even need one? I mean, I don't know.
They should. Everybody should write an outline. Doesn't, like I said, can just be point form. You just tell yourself, okay, so I'm going to have 10 characters in the story. It's going to start here, it's going to go there, it's going to finish over there. So that is what you tell yourself. 20 chapters. So I need to. These characters are going to come in chapter 1. These two are going to be introduced in chapter. So that is what an outline is. So this is what keeps, so that you remember, because you can keep on revert back to your outline and see, oh, when is this character supposed to come in? Oh yes, I wrote there, yeah, that's after the fire, John comes in. you know, so, and so on, blah, 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 blah. And that is what an outline is supposed to be, not the blah, blah, blahs. I use that, but
Well, going back to school days, you learn to write an outline. Well, if you went to my English class, you learned to write the outline, no matter how short the story was going to be. You had to write an outline before you could write the first word of your story. You had to write an outline. They wanted to see the outline of the story. They wanted to see what your idea was. So your outline could be as short as 2 or 3 sentences. This is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end.
I always hated doing that because it always changed when I would go to write. I'd be like, oh, this is such a better idea. Let's do this one, you know, and then I always had to go back to my outline and fix it. I mean, it was a whole hassle, but I mean, English wasn't anyways my strongest subject anyways.
Oh, it wasn't mine either, but
Yeah, spelling's hard, okay? Spelling and grammar is hard.
yeah. But it also helps you focus your idea.
Yeah.
And so even if you're a pantser and you're just flying at the keyboards, you really should have some sort of focus on where you want your story to go. So, your outline could be just 3 lines. I'm going to start on planet Zork, and this guy is going to be, disposed as the emperor. And then this guy is going to come back and he's going to win back his empire. That could be your whole outline, So I know where I'm starting. I know what the main conflict is. I know where I want to end up. And then everything else, I can just fly away and throw characters in as they come along, and situations and scenes, and all this stuff can just go. I don't have to worry about, but at least I know I'm starting here, going there, and ending over here.
Yeah. So what kind of are you, or what kind of, I guess, plotter or pantser are you? Are you either one of those, or your combination? What are you?
No. I'm a definite plotter. I have everything worked out before.
Oh, really? I would not have pegged that. I would have thought that you were a pantser. You're just going to willy-nilly, we're going to write and we're going to do this. I'm going to come back and we're going to fix it,
No. It takes months before I get anything down on paper or on the computer. Yeah, because I have to plot out the entire story. And I wrote the killer series and I plotted out everything. The entire
so I'm a mix.
See, I would have thought that Athena was a plotter, is what I would have thought. And I would have thought James was the pantser, but you guys were flipping on me. And I never would have expected that. I really would have thought that Athena.
She's a plotter. Don't let her.
He said she's a mix.
Yeah.
I could see her just going with it. I could see it. Like if she's really on a roll and she's like, this is juicy stuff, I could see it. You go off script a little bit. I could see it.
So yes, so that is how it is. They actually say that before you write your story, you should interview your characters for your outline, so that you know who they are, everything from their physical appearance to their character, personality, all of those things. So that you know them inside out, so that when you're writing, you know them personally. So you have to know your characters personally, so that when they're confronted with a challenge, you know them so well that you know they would either react in a negative way or a positive way to that challenge. You know exactly what they would do. Example, some guy who grew up and he's petrified of fire. If the house next door is burning, do you think he's going to volunteer to run in there if he's petrified of fire?
Well, what
he's
if
got a fear?
Like a pyro, that just ends up loving fire and burning stuff,
You see, exactly.
Morph into something new.
So you have to know your character in such a way. Would he do this thing?
Okay.
And what would get him over the fear of fire? Is the person next door the person he really loves, and he's going to rush in there and save them?
That is where I was going.
Money buried in the walls of that house, and he's been trying to get into that house for like a year, because he knows that he used to live there and he buried money in that place. And, now since the place is on fire, I
Yeah,
need to get in there, fire or no fire.
I could see that. So then characters, I guess, like from a consumer standpoint, right? From a reader, I guess for me, they start off one way and they just like flip, like flip a switch. You're just like, what? You're the bad guy? What? I did not see it the whole time. But I guess from the writer's standpoint, you kind of have to know that going into it, I guess. See, because I always thought that they just developed into where they're just like, oh, let me just put a twist here. You're now a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's interesting that I never like
Well,
took time to
there
realize.
is some writing
surprise.
like that.
You can surprise
know.
your reader, but you shouldn't shock your reader.
Well,
So
that's-
surprise comes and, oh, that was a twist. I didn't see that coming. It shouldn't be, wait a second, how is this guy the bad guy?
yeah,
Because you didn't build up to it. And that's where your outline will help.
Yeah,
along
sometimes
the way,
you-
I drop these little kernels in there to let you know
Yes.
this guy is not what you think he is. And then
Yeah.
when it happens, you're like, yeah, I seen that. That's right, because he did this back then. And that was kind of odd. And
Oh,
then,
like you say?
so it's a surprise, but it's not a shock that
Okay.
this person turns out, because you do want those twists and you do want those surprises to come, but you don't want it to come out of the blue where all of a sudden, wait a second, he's a man? I thought this was all along you've been telling me this is a woman, and all of a sudden now he's a man, that kind of thing. And never gave a clue as to the fact, like the clue would be you never seen this person naked, or you never seen this person in the bathroom, or you never seen something happen that will lead you to think, well, maybe this person doesn't want somebody to know something about them, they're being really secretive about something. And then you wind up figuring out, oh, that's why they were so secretive. They're not actually a woman, it's a man, and he's in disguise all the time. So, but those are the things that your outline will help you plot out.
Yeah.
And it works.
There is so much that goes into writing a book. I never I don't know. That's why I guess I like working with authors, because from a reader standpoint, I never appreciated how much time, effort, and probably blood, sweat, and tears that went into a book. And so I think that that's just it's so fascinating to go through this whole process, right? In each episode and talk about it, because there really is so much that goes in ahead of time before you even begin writing a book. Some outlines of people that I know that world build and things like that. I mean, they are the pages on their walls, they're whiteboards, they're all kinds, because there's family trees and then hierarchy and then the love triangle, and they have to keep everything straight because there's so many books going on. And so it just, I don't know, it makes me appreciate books now. And not that I ever mistreated a book, I'm not going to say that, but it makes it where I have a deeper appreciation for it, because I know what all goes into it, and so an outline, I hated doing outlines when I was in English.
I loved outlines, and outlines are not written in stone. So let me just say that when you outline something, it doesn't mean that you have to stick to that outline religiously. It's just an idea,
a guide.
just a path. It's a guide.
The outline is just a guide.
Yeah.
And
it's a suggestion.
Oh, I like that word, Athena. It's a suggestion. It's one outcome that's probably maybe going to change. I like that. Yeah.
It has. And like I said, I outlined all 4 books. I had all 4 ideas for the Killer series, all planned out. And as I write each book, things change.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
your mind and everything can change. But next week, you guys, on Readers and Writers, we're talking writing this synopsis. Synopsis has always been a very difficult word for me to say, but I've nailed it. Yes. Okay. So we're going to be talking about writing this synopsis, what all goes into it, what it should look like, details, all of that. So you're not going to want to miss that. But you guys, thank you so much for listening to us. You've been listening to Readers and Writers, and we'll catch you all next week. Bye, everybody.